Man, Chasky.
Ain't shit to it but the doula, dog. You feel me? Yeah, Zersky.
Alright, so look, I've been thinking, like, fuck it, we finna try the reactions a little bit different. They gonna stay the same on some simplistic shit, like we ain't gonna really add nothing to it, but I still feel like, you know what I'm saying, we should try something different, you know what I'm saying, just to make it more us. I ain't gonna lie, I want some more of these because you see the back of my shot, they doing this. Bro, that's literally for me just setting it on the ground. It don't get scraped, nothing, it just sits on the ground. And this has been... Yeah, I don't know, it's just like coming off, like, bro, it don't rub and scrub on nothing. The only time it's sitting on the back of this motherfucker is when I sit it on the ground and charge and shit, but... Yeah, that's what I get that shit instantly. Whatever, we got headphones on headphones, whatever. So yeah, bro, so I'm like, we gonna do something different, so I wanna kinda do my reactions like I'm streaming. You know what I mean? So my dumb self, I sat here and like a couple months ago, I was doing the reactions on stream and then downloading the stream and then just clipping the stream and uploading the reaction. I did it probably like a couple times though. That was a smart way. That's a good smart way. You know what I'm saying? But then my mind always gonna find an even smarter way to do something. So then when I'm sitting here the other day, I'm like, bro, I could just turn it on, start recording, and talk as if I'm streaming. It might get a little longer, you know what I'm saying? That's the only thing what helps with my comfortability with streaming. There's no time period on it. Like, I could sit and do a reaction for 2-3 hours. That's the stream. That's what we doing. Uploading a 2-3 hour video like this onto YouTube, bro. I would never in my life watch one of Trap Lord Ross's 2-hour videos. 3 hours, 4 or 5 hours. I would never make it around to him, bro. So it's stuff like that where there's people who got nothing but time in the world to be needing watches, so they'll watch them 5 hours. They'll take the time and watch it, come back to it, watch some more. You know what I'm saying? Some people might sit and binge watch it and just watch it all the way through if it's interesting enough, you know? But I just don't believe in that stuff. That shit's just, that's too much content, bro. That shit longer than movies and shit. You know what I'm saying? Documentaries be whatever, but man, mud. So I'm like, nah, we gonna turn it on, and I kind of just might do a couple reactions and upload them, or just do them through while I'm sitting here, bro. You know what I'm saying? And just trim it. So we already got the intro and shit like that. So I'm trying to debate. Do I want to do Was Pimp My Ride totally fake? Look back at it. Jack Doherty is totally broke. I want to do some streaming content. You know what I'm saying? I think I'll save this to watch later. Let me just see something.
With YouTube Premium, watch ad-free videos and listen ad-free on the YouTube Music app.
Since some sort of gift relating to their career aspirations or personal interests, which was definitely just a way for MTV to sneak in another sponsor on the show. Finally, Exhibit would do his signature popping, or I guess pinching.
Actually, no, I want to watch this shit from the beginning. I ain't gonna lie, because now that I done seen it, I'll be older now. I would love to actually understand this and see. So fuck it, and we finna roll up. That's nothing, you know. Usually the blunt already roll. I'm finna roll it. We doing this. We doing this in real time. So pretty much when y'all watch this, it'll be pre-recorded and uploaded, but it's in real time actually. You know what I'm saying? So like, yeah, I don't even know if y'all understand what I mean by that. So let me just
with insane visual modifications and performance upgrades, racing through the streets of Los Angeles. That's right, the Fast and the Furious movies used to be about driving on an actual street, not in space. Nonetheless, it wasn't long before street racing culture and heavily customized vehicles made their way into nearly every form of media. I was a huge fan of the Need for Speed games when I was a kid. Hot Pursuit was great, but my mind was absolutely blown when I first heard about Need for Speed Underground. For me, and I'd imagine a lot of other people from my generation, this was my introduction to the world of import tuners and modified
Midnight
vehicles.
Club Dub Edition.
Not to mention, there was an entire brand of vehicles, being Scion, a division of Toyota that launched in 2003, which was built upon the massive popularity of import tuners and car customization, offering hundreds of different visual and
it's so crazy, right? When the Scion first came out, this car became very fucking popular in the race scene, right? In St. Louis, right? I was about like 7, 8 years old. My grandma, right? May she rest in peace. My grandma had this neighbor, And the neighbor was another grandma, but she had a grandson that was a grown ass man. You know what I'm saying? The grandson was cool. I'm mad I can't think of his name right now. But so weird, he became the only friend I had on that block, and he was a grown ass man. Grown ass man. Like 20 something years old. You know what I'm saying? Like at the time I think he was only actually like 20, 21 type shit. But to me, that was like being 30 years old. I ain't gonna lie, bro. Like I was at the nigga at 17 when I used to hear the age of 16, 17 at 19 years old, bro. To me, that used to sound like he was 27 and shit. I don't know why. But grown man, you feel me? Grown as hell. I used to go over there all the time, bro. He used to kick it with me, feed me McDonald's and shit all the time and shit. Let me play this game and shit. I used to go over there and literally play Midnight Club and motherfucking Need for Speed and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? I had no game system over at my grandma crib when I was visiting, because I'm visiting St. Louis, you know what I'm saying? So I'm just getting dropped off down there and shit, whatever. I go visit his shit, but more to the story, he had him one of these. Literally. I remember, nigga, it was his prized possession. He had an all black one, bro, and he had the turbos in that motherfucker. You see the damn pedals and everything, bro. We used to be driving the McDonald's, the corner store, to go get me stuff and stuff all the time, bro. And literally, like, he used to just be pushing that motherfucker. Like, that was just a quick little throwback story.
Performance modifications to the consumer directly from the dealership.
That was his bitch.
Wait,
that was his
what was this video about again?
Pimp
oh yeah,
Ride.
Pimp My Ride premiered on Thursday, March 4th, 2004. At 10:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. The show opened up by immediately introducing the audience to its host, Exhibit, who at this point was already an established name in the world of hip-hop and had recently appeared in movies such as The Wash and the massively successful 8 Mile. But Exhibit had yet to host a reality TV show, let alone any TV show, so no one really knew what to expect from him as the face of this new series. The pilot episode would lay the groundwork for the entire show, because the format was basically the same throughout Pimp My Ride's multi-season run, always starting out with a short anecdote from Exhibit.
Always had a love affair with cars. Big ones, fast ones, especially expensive ones. Because I'm your boy X to the Z Exhibit.
Which led into a quick description about the contestant's vehicle.
Unfortunately for my man Wyatt, I don't think it's possible to have any kind of affair with his 1988 Daihatsu hijack.
Followed by what would become one of the most recognizable slogans in reality TV history.
But that's all about to change, because he has no idea I'm about to pimp his ride.
Followed by the even more recognizable theme song, which I've honestly had stuck in my head for weeks while working on this. The contestant would then give the audience a quick rundown of their vehicle, discuss their situation in life, and basically provide a case for why they deserve to have their ride pimped. Followed by a quick testimonial from the contestant's family and friends, which on one episode happened to be the actress and comedian Tiffany Haddish. But finally, the contestant would deliver the show's signature line.
So please, MTV, pimp my ride.
What comes next was honestly always my favorite part of the show, in which Exhibit would approach the contestant's home and do a quick look over of the vehicle. This is where Exhibit proved to the audience that he was the perfect choice as the host for Pimp My Ride, because he had the ability to crack jokes about the contestant's vehicle without coming across as like snobby or mean-spirited. In the first season, he definitely seemed a bit more reserved, but he really hit his stride by season 2.
Pedophile, start your engines. Yo, every creep around the world is looking at this like, yeah.
Exhibit has gone on record as saying that he wasn't forced to read a script during his time on Pimp My Ride, which was so smart on the producer's part. Because if he had been forced to read lines and hadn't been able to contribute to the show comedically, I probably wouldn't be talking about Pimp My Ride almost 15 years after it ended. But once Exhibit took a quick tour of the vehicle by himself, he would approach the door of the contestant's home. The contestant would freak out at the very sight of it.
Oh shit, man. No. No. No, yeah, if I get into what I think, like, air quotes, you know, air quotes is bad. When we hear air quotes, the air quotes, bro, it's bad. It's, yeah, nigga. Yeah, home. But, hey, on what my nigga Exhibit braids ain't stayed fresh as fuck. That nigga stayed, he had the signature.
Sometimes practically tackling
back with the ponytail.
Like, there's no way that he didn't walk away with some bruises during his time on the show. But it's alright, Exhibit can take it. He roundhouse kicked some fools in Def Jam Fight for New York, and was even the end boss in NFL Street 2. Exhibit would then announce that he was—
Right, I'm on down, this was like, nigga, he was like my favorite nigga coming up. This nigga, boy, you know a lot of people like, man, rappers, like, what the fuck they say? Oh, they said basically Master P was the nigga that lived like every hood niggas dreams, every single last one of, how do I want to put this, bro? It's kind of hard. Every dream that a hoop nigga had, Master P lived it out in reality. NBA player, successful rapper, motherfucking all types of different shit. Exhibit the same way, bro. A successful rapper. He's inside of video games, music, TV show, host, all type shit. Like, you know what I'm saying?
There to pimp the
Valid.
contestant's ride. A more in-depth
Real
tour of the vehicle would
entrepreneur
follow,
in a different
which was
way.
often even more hilarious than Exhibit's first look at the vehicle, because this is where Exhibit, well, exhibited one of his finest comedic talents, glancing at the camera.
Where do the dogs usually ride? I think I can smell where
Yeah,
they usually ride.
they're usually in your seat right now, or in the back seat.
Exhibit would then drive the contestant's vehicle to West Coast Customs, or in later seasons, Galpin Autosports, where a team of mechanics and specialists would discuss what would be done to the
Oh
vehicle
my
in
god,
question.
then this just makes it, because you know that this game came out before Grand Theft Auto 5. In Grand Theft Auto 5, we got Los Santos Customs. That's the main custom store in there. When you walk in, it ain't got like no little nice vibe. It's boring as hell when you walk in that motherfucker, you know what I'm saying? But then they later on add Benny's, which is damn near, Benny's is supposed to really be like West Coast Customs. Like,
based on the owner's personality, hobbies, or career. A majority of these guys hadn't been on camera prior to Pimp My Ride, so the amount of charisma they had on camera is pretty impressive, specifically during the actual work portions. The segment filmed around the table was always a little bit hard to watch, because, unsurprisingly, a former production staffer for Pimp My Ride confirmed in a Reddit Ask Me Anything thread that the show's producers would feed lines to the shop guys during that portion of the episode.
we never used cue cards that I remember. Exhibit did his stuff off the cuff. The boardroom scenes with the WCC crew took a long time to shoot. They often had to be fed line by line. Some of those guys never really got used to being on TV. Some of the lines in the shot probably seem rehearsed because producers would come up with them and feed them to the WCC guys. West Coast Custom guys. Okay, yeah, because West Coast Customs, they just partnered up with them. Hold on real quick. 2 seconds, y'all. Just 2 seconds. 2 seconds. What's good, nigga? I'll be right back. Give me my 15 minutes. I'm doing this YouTube reaction. Bet. Had to say what's good to my brother and shit, you know what I mean? So yeah. But that would make sense, because this black dude right here, he always kind of looks
So
like
it makes sense that it didn't really feel too organic.
you know?
The next several minutes
like
would
this
showcase
too.
the actual
Watch.
pimping
I'm
process,
interested too.
where the crew would do a total and complete overhaul of the contestant's vehicle, installing massive rims or spinners, redoing the interior, restoring the body and applying paint, and of course, installing equipment and accessories that either made total sense, such as a motorized retractable grind rail on the back of this Chevy Caprice because the owner was into skateboarding, or just absolutely insane,
Him.
completely unnecessary equipment.
Him. He had it a little bit. He got used to it just a little bit. But the dark skinned one and the other one, nah. Him and Exhibit kind of synced up. They synced up.
Such as this
somewhat a
trunk
little bit,
conveyor
but
belt, which came with 3 PlayStation
yeah.
Portable systems attached to it, simply because the contestant worked as a baggage handler at an airport. And don't even get me started on the car that had tiny LCD screens installed into its headlights. But once the work was finished, the vehicle would be revealed for the contestant, and they would be given a complete tour of their newly pimped ride, with Exhibit and 1 or more crew members of the shop. Exhibit would then give the contestant some sort of gift, relating to their career aspirations or personal interests, which was definitely just a way for MTV to sneak in another sponsor on the show. Finally, Exhibit would do his signature popping, or I guess pinching, of the contestant's shirt, and say the line,
And you've officially been pimped.
The contestant would then reveal their upgraded vehicle to family and friends, and the episode would conclude with the contestant thanking MTV for pimping their ride.
Thanks, MTV, for pimping my
And
ride.
we've always wondered. So who pays for it?
Like I said, that was the general format for every single one of the show's 73 episodes, and it worked. Pimp My Ride quickly became one of the most popular shows on MTV, so much so that within 2 months of the show's premiere, before the first season even concluded, new episodes were moved from their original time slot of 10:30 p.m. on Thursday nights to Sunday nights at 9:30 p.m. during MTV's most popular programming block of its time, Sunday Stew. With Pimp My Ride, MTV clearly had a winner on their hands, and they took full advantage, broadcasting the show to over 180 countries around the world, which at one point apparently made Exhibit more recognizable than the Pope.
Like one of those things, it was like, at one point I was more recognizable than the Pope.
When was the moment you realized that it was that global?
When soccer moms that don't give a about Exhibit the rapper coming up to me in wherever I am talking about Pimp My Ride.
And I believe it, because there was a point in time where you couldn't turn on MTV, let alone any TV channel, without seeing his face.
If you get stuck
Oh,
on
my
the melody,
dead
or if
homies,
you just
like,
feel like
what
you
you
can't get a
mean,
song
nigga?
started,
On real shit, nigga, before I was hearing about 50 Cent, Kanye, Diddy, Diddy, Jay-Z. This shit might sound like some bullshit on my end, nigga. Exhibit was the only person I was seeing that matched up with everything. Without broadcasting, we don't even hear about Exhibit no more, for real, do we? We don't hear about Chamillionaire neither, do we? Y'all know Chamillionaire is a billionaire? Damn near, and if not damn near, he is one. Nigga ain't rapped in how long? Exhibit don't rap. But if you were once more recognizable than the Pope and your face stays the same, even wear the same fucking hairstyle, Mud, you're never gonna be forgotten. As long as what? Bro, that man, like, this is a person right here that doesn't get his flowers enough. Fuck is you talking about, nigga? And I'm right here, I'm gonna take the time. Exhibit A. Hey, standing ovation.
Yeah, Zersky.
Stop playing with Exhibit, man. Stop. This was my favorite rapper once upon a time. What's that? Nam get killed. Nam get killed. My mama, stop playing with him, Mud. One of them, for real.
I got this white delivery truck downstairs. It's kind of nasty.
No, I'm not.
Could you just? You can't pimp my.
No, I do that on TV.
Well, of course you do it on TV. What am I doing, man?
International versions of the series were also developed, such as
his ass is still, to this day, that nigga too. His ass is still hilarious, still acting. Motherfucker, nigga's been hella years, 10, 20 years. He still look the same, barely look older.
I got this white
nigga barely
delivery truck downstairs. It's kind of nasty.
No, I'm not.
Could you just? You can't pimp my.
No, I do that
all y'all
on
niggas
TV.
look the exact same. Black does not crack. Fuck
Yeah,
you.
What am I
Even
doing,
though
man?
we know he's Hawaiian.
international versions of the series were also developed, such as Pimp My Ride UK and the Indonesia-based Pimp My Car, along with shows like Pimp My Wheels in Italy, which mostly focused on scooters, Pimp My Bicycle, based out of Germany. And no, I'm not kidding. This was actually a real show, despite the fact that German viewers legitimately thought that it was meant to be a comedic parody of Pimp My Ride. The Netherlands-based Pimp My Room, which is pretty self-explanatory. There weren't necessarily any official spin-offs of Pimp My Ride developed for United States audiences, but MTV's sister channel, CMT, produced a show called Trick My Truck, focusing solely on big rigs. There was also Pimp My Ride International, hosted by Lil Jon and Fat Joe, which was filmed in several parts of Europe, where it also made its debut, but the show did air in the form of reruns on MTV2 in the United States. But now that we've celebrated all of the things that made Pimp My Ride so great, it's time to dig into some of the more controversial aspects of the series.
Damn, y'all niggas have
Pimp My Ride came to sort of an abrupt end after only 6 seasons. Actually, it was 5 seasons. This seems to be a point of contention among Pimp My Ride fans, because everywhere you look online, the season counts and episode numbers are just an absolute mess. I'll spare you the long-winded explanation, but basically, every season of Pimp My Ride had between 15 and 17 episodes, with exception to season 3, which only consisted of 8 episodes. It appears that season 3 was cut short because of the split between MTV and West Coast Customs, which occurred at the tail end of 2005. West Coast Customs decided to end their relationship with MTV because their company image began to take a hit as a result of all the time spent working on contested vehicles. West Coast Customs was already an established and well-respected shop in the Los Angeles area prior to Pimp My Ride, so their increased popularity as a result of the show only expanded their client base even further. Seasons 4 and 5 would be filmed at Galpin Autosports, aka GAS, with an entirely new team of mechanics and specialists, with exception to Mad Mike, who was brought over from West Coast Customs. But as I was saying, Pimp My Ride ended rather abruptly after only 5 seasons.
That is correct.
Now, the series didn't end because of a decline in viewership or anything, but rather, Exhibit's contract was up. And not only was he completely burned out by working on a reality TV show with such a busy shooting schedule, but he was so preoccupied with Pimp My Ride that his music career had taken a back seat, and he wanted to get back to touring. Exhibit also wanted to steer away from his hosting spot on Pimp My Ride to further pursue his acting career, which had slowed down a bit during his time on the show. Now, you might be asking, why didn't MTV just hire a new host and continue Pimp My Ride without Exhibit? Out of the 73 Pimp My Ride episodes produced for MTV in the US, Exhibit hosted 72 of them, with the rapper Chamillionaire standing in as a guest host on one episode during the show's 5th and final season. During his interview with The Breakfast Club, Exhibit explained that this episode,
I swear to God, I don't do this shit on purpose, mud. My right hand to God, bro. Ain't it weird that I mentioned Chamillionaire of all fucking people? I swear I be know what I'm talking about, bro. Y'all not gonna tell me I don't be aligning with shit, mud. That's how I know I'm gonna be successful and I'm gonna be a real successful entrepreneur. I don't even rush it no more, man. Cause most of these men, they became real successful with their entrepreneurship and actually managing their time, their accessibility and everything, bro. Once they got older, like their 30s and stuff, or you know, like this is the young, this is a young Exhibit. This early 20s working towards the 30-year-old Exhibit. You feel me?
Season 5, Episode 9, titled Jonathan's 1991 Honda CRX, was actually the final Pimp My Ride episode to be filmed. Long story short, this episode was a bit more costly than the usual installment of Pimp My Ride, because it was a promotional tie-in for the upcoming film Fantastic Four: Rise of the Silver Surfer. And because of that, Exhibit, who was in Europe at the time for a concert tour, agreed to fly back and host the episode, but only if the production company agreed to pay him $1 million. Ultimately, they didn't come to an agreement, and Chamillionaire was brought in to host the episode. And Chamillionaire did a pretty decent job. I mean, he did say the word urine way too many times.
True story, I used to ride around Houston, Texas, working for a medical lab, and used to pick up urine samples in a Honda CRX. Yo, what are you doing with this urine in the backseat? I'm delivering urine to my job. You know, this hatch opens up so wide that you can easily put your urine samples in the back. I never spilled any urine in the back of the car because we had a biodegradable cooler, and the cooler was to keep the urine cool because they say urine has to stay cool. Am I talking too much about urine?
But other than that, he was fine. It's kind of hard to judge his hosting abilities based on one episode, so I don't know if he would have been an adequate replacement for Exhibit. And I mentioned earlier that Pimp My Ride International also aired in the US, with Lil Jon and Fat Joe hosting the show. Lil Jon was, definitely something. Don't get me wrong. I laugh every time I hear him scream, "Yeah! Yeah! Yeah!" But if you had to hear that multiple times per episode, it would probably get old pretty quick. And based on the 1 or 2 episodes I've watched with Fat Joe as host, I could actually see him being a viable replacement for Exhibit. But during the same interview with The Breakfast Club, Exhibit also revealed that someone at MTV once said,
I think actually they said that. They was like, you know, anybody with braids can do what Exhibit.
Whoa, with braids.
That's racist.
Yeah,
Damn, that's
exactly.
crazy.
Who at MTV said that? Which is just wrong on so many levels. Exhibit became so synonymous with Pimp My Ride and added so much character to the show that I honestly don't think anyone could have replaced him. And if someone had, I don't think the show would have lasted much longer. But after Exhibit quit the show, MTV abandoned the concept of Pimp My Ride in the United States, instead placing all of their bets on a series called Trick It Out, which wasn't nearly as popular or impactful as Pimp My Ride. It only ran for 2 seasons, and to be totally honest, I completely forgot about it prior to the making of this video. Even after Pimp My Ride came to an end in the United States, the show never truly fell to the wayside pop culture-wise. It was kept alive by the famous Yo Dog memes, which couldn't be avoided in the early part of the 2010s. And at that same time, Exhibit was even still being asked to pimp people's rides.
You never see me with one tool on the show. You saw me at the beginning and saw me at the end. You never saw me in the middle, fixing nothing. I was the face of the show. You know what I'm saying? So people associate me with what happened to the car.
Oh, I love that. In other words, when you put somebody on too, I'm gonna use it in this sense, right? In this sense, Casanet. Since Casanet put on Clover Boys, anything they do, he gonna have to face it. Because he put on Clover Boys. The world knows Clover Boys because of Kai. We know. See, this is the crazy thing about the show. Some people didn't know Exhibit, but knew him because of the show. And some people didn't know the show, but only knew of the show because of Exhibit. So there's, like you said, you got soccer moms running up to me like, can you pimp my ride? And don't know shit about Exhibit the rapper. You even got rappers running up though, you know what I'm saying? Sometimes like, you know, like, oh yeah, like, hey, what's up gang, you pimp my ride? Whoop do I been? But then that's when it's like, oh, mama, no, gang, I only do that when I'm literally on the show. Like, you know, like, I'm gonna try to run up on me on some music. Like, what's up, man? Can I get, you know what I'm saying? But he's just like, bro, it starts taking over. But yeah, pretty much what I just said.
I didn't do to that car.
I ain't even touched the
But
car.
Pimp My Ride made headlines in 2015, and the show's credibility and legacy took a massive hit. The Huffington Post published an article titled, "Here's What Really Happened to the Cars from Pimp My Ride," in which 3 former Pimp My Ride contestants spoke about their experiences with the show, along with former co-executive producer on Pimp My Ride, Larry Hochberg, who offered some insight from a production point of view. The contestants in question were Jake, who appeared in Season 3 with his 1986 Buick Century, along with Seth and Justin, who appeared on episodes in Season 5 with a 1989 Nissan Maxima and a 1997 Toyota RAV4, respectively. But the Huffington Post article went over everything from the production team planning items into contestant vehicles to...
And Justin Deeringer's Reddit AMA, he claimed that they actually take out a lot of the stuff that they showed on TV, such as, in his case, a pop-up champagne contraption and a drive-in theater. Further explaining to HuffPost, Deering said that they removed the champagne part because the show didn't want to condone drinking and driving. The theater was removed for not being street safe. According to Larry Hochberg, the removals were done with a specific purpose in mind. Sometimes we did things for safety reasons that the kids on show interpreted as us taking away some items, he said. He gave an example where 24-inch spinner rims on a 1977 Cutlass would look amazing for television, but out of abundance of caution, they'd end up switching the spinners to beautiful 20s for daily driving. Is that invalid? That's valid as fuck. Like, we gonna customize the car and cap it the fuck out for the views and the TV. But before you drive off with this car, we're not capped out like that. We are a real mechanic shop, bro. We're a real custom shop, bro. So we still gotta follow actual regulations, boy. And now we gotta make sure we on top of regulations even more, because we already popular, but now we on TV every week doing different cars, and adding all types of unnecessary shit to them that you never heard of. So automatically, we doing it on a simple fact. Like, the idea is showing you a car you can do whatever you want if you put your mind to it. That's it. That's like the main thing. Like, yeah, do whatever you want if you put your mind to it. But on top of that, it's like, but bro, realistically, a lot of stuff we do is not legal. It's not street legal. It's not none of that. You feel me? These is against street operating regulations and shit like that. You feel me? We can give you some 24s, but this your only fucking car, my nigga. You can't drive on no 24s every fucking day. It's highly impossible. The biggest size rims you can drive on, or tires, is 20s. I know, because, nigga, my truck is 20s. And them tires is hard to find. That's what's even crazier. But the biggest stock default size you can get on a truck is size 20s, bro. That ass, every single truck, because I haven't got like no Tahoe or nothing. You know what I'm saying? So you might come with some 22-inch tires. But for most parts, I always see the highest is a R20, bro. I mean, yeah, R20, you feel me? It's around 20 inches, mud. You feel me? You can't drive on no 24 inches all day, every day, mud. It'll start fucking up your suspension and all type of shit. Then when you take the wheels back off and try to put on some normal wheels, you feel me? Your shit might drive smooth, but you gonna still end up feeling that difference in it, because them 24-inch rims, nigga, gonna start shifting your suspension. My fault. So, like, come on.
To accessories and equipment being removed after the cameras stopped rolling. For instance, Justin spoke of the pop-up champagne contraption being removed after filming. They also removed the projector that was installed on the dashboard, and the reverse opening hood was also swapped out for safety reasons. And the most disappointing portion of the article involved Seth's Nissan Maxima, in which members of the production crew dumped bags of candy onto the backseat of his car to sort of poke fun at his size. And to make matters worse, a cotton candy machine was installed into the trunk of the Maxima, which Seth felt pretty insulted by, saying to the Huffington Post, "I think they just wanted to put a cotton candy machine in a car and use the fat guy as the opportunity to do it." And before you knew it, nearly every major entertainment news outlet had published their own story, using this article as a reference, with clickbait-heavy titles such as "Show was nearly entirely fake" and "Pimp My Ride lied." Obviously, seeing as Pimp My Ride was a reality TV show, a lot of what you saw was influenced through writing or off-camera coaching by one or more producers. It's just the nature of reality TV. But when it comes to Pimp My Ride, what exactly was fake and what was real? Starting with the contestant audition portion of the episode, it turns out that some of the vehicle damage shown was done on purpose to make the vehicle look worse. Sometimes by the vehicle owner or the show's production members. For example, Justin mentioned that the production crew partially removed the front bumper on his RAV4. They also used a product called aircraft remover on the paint and increased the size of the dent on the rear liftgate. I'm not saying that this was done to every vehicle that appeared on Pimp My Ride, but regardless, it was happening. So, the homes shown on Pimp My Ride weren't the contestants' actual residences. They were mostly houses that weren't occupied that were, at the time, listed for sale or rent, or they belonged to production team members on Pimp My Ride. MTV would just borrow these houses for the show, and they were always within driving distance of West Coast Customs or Galpin Autosports. The reason being, Exhibit actually drove the contestant vehicles to the shop. That part of the show actually wasn't staged. But apparently, the contestant was told to wait in the house until they heard a knock at the front door. A producer would tell them that when they answered, it would either be Exhibit, which meant that they were picked to have their ride pimped, or a crew member on the show, letting them know that they weren't chosen. But from what I understand, none of the contestants on the US version of Pimp My Ride were ever greeted by a crew member when they answered the door. This was simply a tactic used by the production team to get a more genuine reaction out of the contestant when they were greeted by Exhibit. The production crew would even apply black construction paper onto the windows of the house so that the contestant wasn't able to see Exhibit approaching the door.
We have got to the point where literally anybody can build a fully working app without knowing how to code. This is...
let's just press this button. I'm sorry, y'all saying people been throwing, so I needed to watch this video. All these years, when I just read the titles, I've been going off the fact of, like, everybody saying it's fake. I've been stuck on oh, it's fake. So yeah, they fake customize the cars and take all that shit out, or they charge you for it. That's what I was hearing. Everybody like, no, you gotta pay for that shit. But we gonna see if it get to that in the video. But as far as everything else, how they doing it, bro, they was doing what they had to do to make stuff make sense as much as possible.
This easily caused the biggest divide among fans and critics of Pimp My Ride. The vehicles on Pimp My Ride were always outfitted with the most insane visual upgrades, but it wasn't often that any work was shown being performed under the hood of the vehicle. Don't get me wrong, engine work and engine replacements were done on Pimp My Ride. But unfortunately, the 3 contestants interviewed by the Huffington Post had 0 engine work done to their vehicles, resulting in mechanical problems that they had to resolve on their own dime. When the Huffington Post asked co-executive producer Larry Hochberg about this, he explained that some of the cars were so old and rusted that they would have mechanical issues no matter how much work you put into them. The show wasn't about saving cars from breaking down. It was about pimping cars.
Is he wrong? I swear to God, I was just finna make this shit make sense. People don't be business operators, bro. So they ain't gonna never understand this, and most of them ain't gonna never own a business of their own. My guy, you have to get more than what you put in. Deadass, otherwise you're gonna be in debt. Y'all realize, bro, it's hella money already to customize y'all cars, and I'm still waiting to see if they say they were charged for it. I haven't heard it yet. All I hear is y'all complaining about the other things y'all expected that wasn't done. And that's why y'all like the show was fake. It's called Pimp My Ride. Not pimping soup. They not souping your shit up and none of that, nigga. They just pimping it. Give us a skeleton to work on. Give us a template. Give us a canvas. And we gonna turn this motherfucker into something. Now, as far as if you want to keep it and keep trying to drive it and stuff and all the mechanical issues with it, you gotta handle that. We just here to pimp it. You feel me? The show's called Pimp My Ride, bro.
And to get another perspective on this, I turned to the channel Brain Shatterer here on YouTube, run by Kirsten, whose wife Erin appeared on season 4 of Pimp My Ride with her 1973 Volkswagen Thing. He mentioned that when a representative from MTV initially called Erin about her Volkswagen, they made it clear that a full restoration wasn't going to be done on the vehicle, aside from the obvious visual restorations that the show was known for. But Galpin Autosports actually ended up installing a new turbocharged engine into Erin's VW Thing, which wasn't uncommon during the 4th and 5th season of the show when gas took over.
Yeah, you know in Pimp My Ride, we changed engines too.
I thought you really did keep the same engine.
Pimp My Ride always made it seem like the work being done on these cars only took a few days, which was far from the truth. Now, in all fairness, none of the guys in the shop or exhibit ever mentioned a time frame in which the vehicle would be completed. But right before the vehicle was revealed to the contestant, without fail, A clip would always be shown of the shop crew finishing up their work in a timely manner, which kind of gave you the impression as the viewer that it took a lot less time than the actual time frame, which, based on several contestant testimonials, was actually 5 to 7 months. Obviously, with a show that relies on contestant-supplied vehicles, they aren't going to reveal that it takes months for the work to be completed. That would immediately turn people off from wanting to audition for the show. But honestly, with the amount of work they put in, and the number of vehicles they worked on per season, that time frame really isn't that bad. And finally, the portion where the vehicle was revealed to the contestant. Do you remember how much the contestant would freak out when they saw their newly pimped vehicle? It would be stupid to say that every single contestant faked their reaction, because I totally understand their excitement. But Jake shared that when his Buick was revealed, his initial reaction was just standing there saying, "Holy f***." Apparently, that wasn't good enough, because Big Dane, accessory specialist at West Coast Customs, reportedly put his arm around Jake, walked him around the shop for several minutes and said, "Listen, we put a lot of work into this. We expect you to be a little more f***ing enthusiastic." Which I totally believe, because the reaction that they used on the show is so over the top and clearly exaggerated for the camera. Clearly, the reaction segment required multiple takes. So it would be really unfair to label in the modern age is always exaggerated or set up in some way. At the end of the day, Pimp My Ride is still just as enjoyable as it always was. But like all reality TV, should be looked at with a bit.
It's only called reality TV because it's realistic people, realistic time frames, and everything. But in reality, in retrospect, a lot of this shit is stretched or critiqued to exaggerate, to draw the views. You know what I'm saying? Keep the consumption. So when you watch reality TV, most of us understand and should know, like, it got real in it. The word real is real. You know what I'm saying? It's happening in real time, and this stuff does take place, but it might not be the way that you be portraying it. You know what I'm saying?
Bit of skepticism. Thank you for watching today's episode. If you enjoyed what you saw, please feel
W-Watch already liked it. That was a W-Watch. So now I can get my insight because we watched the whole video. Nobody ever mentioned that they were charged for doing the cars, though. I was waiting for that. I was waiting to hear somebody be like, or waiting for them to say like, yeah, and then they were complaining about after the fact they will receive a tab either in the mail or whatever, or this, that, and the third on what they owe on the car. That's a key fact, if it is a fact to have. You understand? Like, that's something you can't leave out with all of this. Like, you would have to include that in this video, or else like it'll be a good video, but it also would be an L video because everything wasn't covered the way it needed to be. So in my eyes, how I'm seeing it is, this person, before they made the video, they made sure they went, researched, and covered what they needed to thoroughly. And in the midst of what they looked up, at no point did they see anything that said that contestants was charged for the vehicles or anything. So my whole thing is, the show is called Pimp My Ride. Y'all got y'all rides pimped. Damn, this is a 38-minute video? Damn. Alright. Real quick. It's called Pimp My Ride. They did it just customized, bro. It's like if they made a show called Paint Your Shirt. They ain't tell you they was finna start you a clothing brand now, my guy. Paint your clothes. Custom your clothes. You bring them anything, jackets, pants, whatever. They customize your shit however. You know what I'm saying? Make it a one-on-one. Nice. And then you lead the show and be like, yeah, man, I got the piece and everything, but after that, like, they didn't help me start my clothing brand or none of this. Bro, we never told you that. We just said, if you got some pieces and you feel me, you willing to let us do what we want to do with them, bring them in and come in, you feel me, like, and we'll get you right, like. So it's like, bro, that show wasn't fake. That show did what it was supposed to do. and it succeeded as long as it did. Bro. Shout out Exhibit, man. Shout out MTV shit. Fuck it.
Higher than a bitch, I'm off the oil, they don't get it. Running up my money, I'm getting my money. I'm talking my chicken, hold up, bitch be talking that shit, but whole time told that